Hold on, I need to put like my nicer headphones on. Hold on. Like these trumpets. Chef's kisses. Cannibalism. Uh-oh. Today we're going to be checking out Johnny Manchild and the Poor Bastards music video. I feel like this mic is like going into their music video right now. Limp mic. Looks kind of weird, but like whatever. So this video is a wild one. If you have not watched this music video yet, which would be surprising if you're watching this video and you haven't watched it, but if for some reason that is happening, go watch it right now. I linked it in the description and I'll try and do a little tabby up here somewhere. I don't know. Before we go into a line-by-line deep dive, kind of like what I did for Bo Burnham, I'm gonna go into what I got from like my artistic impression of the music video. The story could be a critique of like the concept of your sins being washed away in a born-again Christian or Nazarene way. You're dunked into the water by a priest and you're basically born again. Your sins before kind of don't count. That born again culture, it could be a critique that this person, it's socially acceptable to go and kind of reinvent yourself, commit these horrible sins and then reemerge, and then people are like, oh, well, you see what you did wrong. I guess we can give you a pass. You're good for that. Go try and be a better person. And then it's just kind of like seeing the lack of repercussions, the lack of justice that comes along with that born again culture. It could overall be used as an excuse for bad behavior, that this person, this subterranean man is well, I can't wait to go back into the water to reemerge. Instead of feeling remorse or guilt, they're like, oh, well, I can't wait to go back in the water and then start that again. And that's kind of when we go line by line, we'll see how I interpreted that thought process from our subterranean man character. All right, let's start. So here our character mentions requesting to be laid down at the sand so that the ocean can slowly take him in with the tide, assuming the character is at peace with his decision to do so. And it's even mentioned later that he will sink freely, peacefully, and heavily, which is not usually the, adjectives people use when they change themselves as a person. Usually it's a very challenging and difficult place to be in your life, to try and notice these things about yourself and then change them. The first thing you say in self-discovery is not that it's freeing, it's that it's difficult to come to those realizations at first, and then later when you change it is freeing. So just the point that he looks forward to this laying by the sea is something that I found really interesting. But if we look at the beginning of the video, it's a man just laying at the sand right here. So he's just laying here. Yes. So we can assume two different things. Either that this man is already reborn, and that he's already been corroded and turned into something new, or is this process that he's talking about never even happen? Did he never even begin to be reborn at all? It's just him laying there, and it's more of an abstract view of this is where I'm going to take my break until I'm ready to come back. They said the title of the song, they said sift. He'd sink into the blue and sift into the teeth. You know, the sieve when you bake and then you sift the flour through the sieve, right? When you're sifting, you're kind of wanting to take out the coarser bits to leave a smoother, fluffier mixture. And also you're left with more of the flour because you sifted air into it. So if you start with a cup of flour, you'll get a cup and a fourth. So basically this sifting motion in his personality, it's sifting out the coarser bits or the undesirable bits to get more of yourself that you want. So this is what the character's like goal is. If he's achieving that goal is yet to be discovered. I don't think so. And what is left will rest beneath. What's left for interpretation here is what the Subterranean man is made up of. He's sifted, sure, it's like something was taken out of him, but is he actually made up of the coarser, undesirable bits from, like, taking himself away from society and maybe becoming, like, a harder, rougher, more coarse person? Or is this his process of trying to become a better person? Because we don't know what comes before or after. He could have been even worse before, and this is like his journey to betterment. And yeah, that's what's so fun. Like, we don't know the rest of his story. And so, like anything, it's very difficult to judge a person based off of like one part of their lives, because people change and they grow, or they get worse. In this case, we're not sure. So let's see what else is going on. As we could see, like, he's waiting for a car and asking for help here, you know? He's trying to flag them down. He's trying to get help. And while he's trying to get help, everyone is driving by until he just sits down exasperated and someone stops to help. It could kind of be seen as like a parallel to what happens in real life. As we could see the shocked look in this guy's face, he stopped to help him because he saw the shape of someone who like was in need of help. And when he stopped to see who it was he was helping, it was someone who looked kind of odd or kind of scary. And it could be seen as like a way to look introspectively at ourselves, like when people are asking for help, are we willing to give it to them? Or are we just willing to give help when it's comfortable for us? But honestly, like, who wouldn't be really spooked at this appearance because it's such a dramatic appearance? Very fun for a music video. I think this whole montage part that happens, like, it's my favorite part in this video. Hold on, I need to put like my nicer headphones on. Hold on. I love this song, man. I really do. It's such a banger. Let's continue. So, like, we kind of see there, too, like, he turns around to say thank you, and then he's like, all right, I did my deed, like, I'm out. Like, I'm out with this, like, I'm good now. Now I can go back and tell people, like, I gave a hitchhiker a ride, but as far as the person that I helped, not very important. It can be interpreted that way. If you interpret that scene a different way, please let me know. I'm very curious. All right, so here we see, like, he has already arrived at, like, a house that he already owns, right? So that's interesting. So we can see that this person's on this, like, self-journey. That's what I can get from this. Like, this is not a new being that has, like, emerged from the sea and all of this. It's representative of someone who has existed before. And so we see that his house is in complete darkness, and he probably keeps it that way because as the way he's looking in the mirror and the way he's even, like, sleeping himself, like, he's uncomfortable in, like, who he is. He's uncomfortable with his being, and unhappy with himself. And then also, like, these trumpets, chef's kisses. I think this montage of him trying to, like, better himself, like, as soon as he comes out as a subterranean man, it's like one night, and then he tries to better himself, which gives us a lot of compassion towards this character. Like, you really, really can understand what it's like to just, like, get up and at 'em, like trying to make your day, trying to make your life better, like as soon as you get up. And that's something that's like really commendable towards this person. Like, even if this character is destined to their fate of, you know, him being an evil being, or, you know, maybe that's not entirely true, and this is where you kind of get this this humanizing feeling of this character. And here we kind of see that this person, like, either they have the qualifications for this job, or they have, like, the promise in their personality to be able to do this job really well. So now we get an even more, like, humanizing view of this character. As he tries to, like, assimilate into normal life, and we see this during this montage here as well. He's jogging, and look, okay, that little part where he scares someone, it can kind of be part of himself, like, accepting the fact of what he looks like and kind of playing up on that and being cheeky with it, you know? So it's like a part of self-discovery where, you know, you can't control the way that people see you and think of you, so you might as well own it. And this is what he's learning as he gains the confidence, like as he gets his occupation, you know, he's wearing brighter clothing. And here we can kind of like appreciate the fact that he's still trying to do things that he likes to do, like doing yoga, no matter like people give him weird looks and stuff, but he's all like, whatever, I'm just doing what I want to do. I'm living my best life, so you guys can just like suck it, really. And then you see as his journey into like self-discovery that people are really warming up to him. People see more than what meets the eye, and they're like beginning to be friendly with him, and like he's living a happier life, and we're just so happy because we think that maybe it was all in the way that he looked, and that was all that was to it, and he was struggling with that, and now that he's re-emerged and did some self-discovery, is he different? Like, we don't know anything about the character except that he looks different at this point, so we feel for him. We feel for him right here. You see here, like, the first time that anyone looks at him, it's kind of like spookiness. They're like, oh, or it's disgust, or it's surprise. But the first time their eyes meet, she doesn't react that way. And I think it's what everyone can, like, agree with what they want to find in a partner. Like, you want someone who sees you for you and not just the way that you look like. And I think, if for a music video's sake, this love at first sight trope is something to easily get that feeling across. Even though it might not actually exist in real life, it's a good way to show the fact that this is what makes them click, that she is able to see him for him. So it's like a fantasy that we can all, like, empathize with, and encapsulates the value of being loved for who you are in just this slight moment. And it's something that they're able to pull off so well. It's so good. Here, before we get into what's about to happen, I think the music is done so well here, because in the beginning we got like a lullaby-esque sound that we kind of swayed to. But here in this montage, it's like a building up with more percussion and the more of the brass sounds. Instead of dun, dun, the lullaby, you get dun da 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 da. At first we're being lulled by this C, and now we're being like pushed forward, like, you know, like kind of like how you are in life, like push forward, trudging forward. And then cannibalism. Uh-oh. So we see, like, even though, like, that cannibalism, like, most of us probably can't, like, empathize with the fact that someone would want to cannibalize someone. At least I hope not. And so, but what we can empathize with the fact with is that I think if you're, like, in a long-term relationship or any kind of relationship, really, it's just this fear that this partner isn't who you think that they are. You spent all this time with trust and knowing them, and then they end up falling in love, but in the end, this animalistic urge that this character has, it caves through. And this is probably what he was trying to wash away in the beginning of the video. And so it could be seen as, like, maybe he's meant to be this way, or perhaps that this is what he's trying to change about himself. More than anything in this video, that had a strong effect on me personally, and I felt a lot of empathy for the victim in this case, because it's just a fear that I have, that you don't actually know someone, and that they don't mean the best for you. That's something that's really scary. So that's kind of what we take away from the visuals here. But if we listen to the lyrics here, and the world moves on, so why can't we? We could shed our skin, a sweet release. Oh, I can't wait to be undone so I can start again. So at the end of this tragic story, we see this character can't wait to start again, and we don't see any remorse based on this crime of cannibalism committed, and that's kind of unnerving, because you would expect if someone wants to be better, they see guilt for what they have done and how they have treated others and want to be better based on that. So the lack of accountability here is interesting, which leads me more towards this, like, faded tragedy of this person who's meant to be a monster, or who isn't human at all, and who just lays at the scene waiting for, like, their next victim, just because of that lack of accountability. So at the end of the video here, we're left with almost like basically a minute of credit scene, which is pretty normal, right? As this guy walks into the sea, you want to give everyone their thumbs up and, like, you know, like, we love you, we appreciate you, stuff like that. But artistically speaking, when, like, we want to overthink here, because this is what we do here in Adventure With Me, from an artistic perspective, from this imagery of this man walking into the water and denoting all of the people who are responsible for making this art come true, the directors, the donators, everyone who has helped make this art come to life, that, you know, they are responsible for the subterranean man ultimately existing. And if people stand by and watch these things unfold, they have a responsibility to his creation. He's able to exist and keep existing because of people's, you know, not only people's acceptance, but their support. Now, is this a good or a bad thing, or something that they even meant at all? I don't want to watch an ad. It's just another way to, like, deep dive into the song. Anyway, the song is fantastic. I love the music. Their little, like, instrumentals in the middle, that's one of my favorite things, like, about this band. And this is so fun to watch, and I love this video. If you're, like, new to this band, I really suggest their other song, Lightning. It's a very beautiful song, and that's my favorite song. Here, I'll give you a sneak peek. Oh, guys, this isn't what I love this song. Anyway, this song is great. Everything that they do is great, and this was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys had fun too. I love Johnny Manchild and the Poor Bastards. Okay, love you, bye!